Good afternoon, students. Welcome to the lecture of Operational Research. In the last lecture, we have seen the examples of using how to solve the examples using the simplex method. Also, we have seen some tips for quick solutions. What are the tips we have seen for the quick solution? The incoming vector, formula for the incoming and outgoing vector or variable we have written. What is the formula for the incoming variable? This is minimum delta j, or one can write this as most negative delta j. If the value occurs for some j is equals to r, then the formula for the outgoing variable is minimum of this ratio. What is the ratio? xbi upon xir, provided xir is having a positive value. Means this is obtained by taking xb column divided by that xr column. Third tip is going to tell us that initial basic feasible solutions are nothing but the right hand side constant, and for the first table, for the first iteration, delta j's are nothing but minus cj values. Okay, then you should mark the key element and convert the, how we are going to mark the key element, knowing entering column and outgoing row. What we will do, we will mark the common element to both the column and row, and it will be my key element. Then the next job is to convert the key element to unity and other elements in the column to 0. Now why we were doing this process? Because with this, the corresponding variable will construct the column of an identity matrix. Construct the column of an identity matrix, and so that it is going to enter in the basis. Next, column corresponding to the basic variable forms an identity matrix. Okay. Next, net evaluation corresponding to basic variables are always 0. These points you have to keep in mind so that it will help us to do the fast calculation of solving the result. Good. Now let us look to this examples we have studied. The example we have solved by using a direct method. We have written all the tables one below the other. We have written the tables one below the other. While performing the second table, you have to keep in mind the row operation should be performed in such a way that whatever is the row containing pivot element, use that row for all the row operations. This point you have to keep in mind. Okay, we have solved the two problems in the last lecture. Now let us come to today's lecture. In today's lecture, we are going to understand a new variable called as an artificial variable. Two types of variables we have seen, slack variable and surplus variable. When we were using slack variable, yes, when we were using slack variable, if the constraint is of the type less equal, we were using slack variable, adding a non-negative variable to the left called as a slack variable. And if the constraint is of greater equal type, we were calling it as a surplus variable. Subtracting a non-negative variable from the left hand side will give us the inequality. Okay. Then in the first iteration itself, we have seen that the basic variables we were selecting as the added variables. Okay, rather added slack variables, because these slack variables which we are adding are going to form the identity matrix in the coefficient matrix of the given system. But sometimes instead of slack variable, if we add surplus variable, whether the same is going to be true or not, this we have to check. Okay, let me give you one example to check this. Suppose I am having the inequalities 2x1 plus 3x2 less than or equals to 7, 3x1 minus x2 less than or equals to 2, 4x1 plus x2 is greater equal by 3. Because we have three different inequalities involving both types, less equal and greater equal type. Then we will convert those inequalities to strict equations by using the slack and surplus variable. For the first two inequalities, we need a slack variable, and for this we need a surplus variable. Therefore, what will be a conversion if I add slack and surplus? The first inequality gives us 3x1 plus 2x2. Let me add the slack variable denoted by x3. Therefore, this is my slack. Next, 3x1 minus x2. Here, let me add the slack variable, say x4 is equal to 2. And at the third, we are going to use a surplus variable. So the equation becomes 4x1 plus x2 minus x5 is equal to 3. Minus x5 x5 is equal to 3. And the basic variables we were selecting, where the basic variables, the matrix corresponding to the basic variable forms the identity matrix as a submatrix of A. Therefore, if I write the coefficient matrix here, what is my coefficient matrix? With column corresponding to x1 is 2, 3, 4. Column corresponding to x2 will be 3, minus 1, plus 1. Corresponding to x3 will be 1, 0, 0. With respect to x4, this is 0, 1, 0. But what for x5? This is 0, 0, minus 1. Therefore, if we look here in this coefficient matrix, whether we get the identity matrix. Yes?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
No. Here we are unable to get the identity matrix. And if we are not getting the identity matrix, how to select the basic variables? No doubt we have a criteria of selecting the basic variables with us. Those variables where the determinant of the corresponding coefficient matrix is giving you a non-zero value. That is B we can select. No? B we can select such that determinant B is not equals to 0. Therefore, the corresponding basic variables we are going to denote it by xb. And the value of xb can be found as xb is equal to B inverse B. As this relation we want to use as xb is equal to B inverse B. Therefore, here as the inverse of the submatrix is getting involved, we are taking this B to be purposefully the identity matrix. Correct. But if we take B other than identity matrix, what will happen? We have to find the corresponding inverse here first. We have to find the inverse here, and then we will be able to get the initial basic feasible solution. Therefore, what is the process of finding the inverse of a matrix? There are 2, 3 ways.
Determinant.
Adjoint of A upon determinant of A.
Determinant of A means you have to go for an adjoint. But if we look at the methodology itself, the methodology is having some 2, 3 iterations. Therefore, if we select B to be non-identity matrix, then this process gets what it is going to be. This is going to be large. Correct now? First, you have to find out the inverse of that matrix, selected matrix B, and after finding the IBFS, then you have to start your simplex method. Therefore, the process becomes lengthier. The process becomes lengthier. For this purpose, we were selecting this capital B to be the identity matrix. Capital B to be the identity matrix, and whenever we were using a surplus variable in the system of equations, we are unable to get the identity matrix. Correct now? Look at this. This is not going to form the identity matrix. Correct now? Which column is missing?
Third column.
Third column is missing. There is no doubt we have a first column of the identity matrix, we have second column of the identity matrix, but the third column of the identity matrix is missing. Therefore, what do you think? What will be my alternative? If I want to convert this column 0, 0, minus 1 to 0, 0, 1, what is the possibility with us? What adjustment we can do? Third equation is giving us a trouble. No? Third equation is giving us a trouble. Student, please wait for a minute. Yes, where we were. What adjustment I can do if I want to convert this third column 0, 0, minus 1 to 0, 0, 1? What idea comes in your mind?
Multiplied by -1 करू शकतो आपण.
Good. Third column should be, sorry, third row of this third equation should be multiplied by negative. But what will happen if I multiply by negative here? No doubt this x5 becomes positive, but what is the effect on your right hand side constant?
-3.
This is -3. But is it according to your standard form?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
No, it is not. What is the standard form? Let us recall. Standard form of an LPP is objective function should be maxima, right hand side constant should be non-negative, and all the constant should be equations. Correct, no? Therefore, if I
Yes, ma'am.
multiply by the negative, it creates a problem that the right hand side constant becomes negative. Therefore, here we cannot choose this option of multiplying by a negative sign. Therefore, a new concept was introduced called as an artificial variable. A new variable is being added such that, okay, what such that? To complete the third column of this identity matrix. To complete the third column of identity matrix, we are going to use, or we are going to introduce a new variable, a new column, which I want to introduce here is, this should be 0, 0, 1. But if I want this last column, what this corresponding variable will be? The first column corresponds to x1, this is x2, this is x3, x4, x5 and x6, correct? Therefore, we need one more variable called as x6, right now? And that variable should be introduced in which equation? Not in
Third
the
equation.
first, not in the second. Yes, it is in the third equation. And if we introduce a variable x6 in such a way, it will create an identity matrix. Therefore, this will be the first column, second column, and this will be the third column. So let us introduce this in the third equation. Therefore, what will be the system of equations again? 2x1 plus 3x2 plus x3 is equal to 7. 3x1 minus x2 plus x4 is equal to 2. And in the third equation, we were going to introduce 4x1 plus x2 minus x5 plus x6 is equal to 3. No doubt x6 is non-negative. Therefore, this variable actually it is not necessary to convert inequality constraint equations, but it is necessary to form the identity matrix in the coefficient matrix of the given system. Therefore, this added variable is not going to play any role in the given system, and that's why the variable is called as an artificial variable. What is the meaning of artificial? It's not real, no? Artificial is not real, it's imaginary, it's pseudo, correct? Therefore, we were introducing this artificial variable. Therefore, along with slack and surplus variable, a new idea is being introduced called as an artificial variable. Okay, and this artificial variable is essential whenever the inequality is of the type greater equal. What will happen if the inequality is of the type equal to? Suppose, let me consider another example. A system of equation 2x1 plus 7x2 equal to 3, 2x1 plus 3x2 less than or equals to 4. Okay, let me convert both the inequalities to equations. Here, first is already an equality. Therefore, this is 2x1 plus 7x2 is equal to 3. Now I have to add only one slack in the second equation. 2x1 plus 3x2 plus x3 is equal to 4. What will be the coefficient matrix in this case? For x1, 2, 2, 7, 3. For x3 it is 0, 1. Correct? 3 variables we have. Whether it forms an identity matrix again?
No, ma'am.
No, it is not going to form an identity matrix again. Which column is missing? First column is missing. If I want to introduce the first column of an identity matrix here, therefore we have to introduce one more variable. This is x1, x2 and x3. Therefore, in order to form the identity matrix, we have to introduce one more variable. Looking at this column, we have to introduce this x4 in which equation? First equation. Correct now? This plus x4 we have to introduce in the first. Okay. Therefore, what we have made a conclusion, whenever we have the constraint in the form of equality or greater equal equality. Okay, whenever we have the constraint of the form equal to or greater equal to, we are unable to get the columns of the identity matrix in the coefficient matrix. So at this stage, we have to introduce one more variable called as an artificial variable. Called as an artificial variable. Artificial means this is not real variable. Variable was introduced just in order to complete the identity matrix so that we can proceed to find out the initial basic feasible solution. Okay, is the idea of introducing the artificial variable is clear to everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so the idea was clear. Now we have to think of whether simplex method can be used to solve this. But the usual simplex method cannot be used for solving such a type of for solving the problems involving such a type of variables. Therefore, again there are some corrections made in the simplex method, and two more methods are developed called as BigM method and two-phase method. Called as BigM method and two-phase method. Therefore, the problems involving artificial variables can be solved with two types of problems. Therefore, first let us write what is the artificial variable. Artificial variable. Here we will write LPP in which constraints having greater equal and equal to sign constraint having greater equal to sign, and after ensuring all BI are non-negative. We have to ensure this fact, na? Otherwise we have a possibility of multiplying by a negative sign. Okay, in such problems basis matrix is not obtained as an identity matrix in the starting simplex table. Therefore, we introduce a new variable called artificial variable. These variables are fictitious and cannot have a physical meaning. Okay. In order to understand, I am telling that this variable is taken on rent. Just in order to construct the identity matrix. We are taking it on a rent. We are not going to involve any variable which is taken on rent in the corresponding problem. Therefore, the variables do not have any physical meaning. Correct? This is the artificial variable. Okay. Now there are two methods. For solving the problem using involving artificial variable. Artificial variable, and the first problem is big yum method. Big yum method, and the second one is two-phase method. Two-phase method. Okay, now these two methods are developed. The names itself tells you the name. Big yum means this yum is having a big value. Numerical value is very big. Actually, the methods are developed by assigning some value to the artificial variable. Okay, in the first method, the value of artificial variable was taken to be a big value, and we are going to put the cost of that artificial variable in the objective function as minus m. Therefore, if m takes a big value, a maximum value, what about minus m? Minus m is going to take the minimum value. Therefore, instead of 0, the value of artificial we were taking to be very less in the objective function, and finally the value of artificial variable should be 0. That therefore the minus m value, if I multiply by 0, total it is going to play no role in the objective function. This is what the theme is actually, assigning the different values to the artificial variable. In the first method, as I told you, we are going to assign a minus m value for big m. Okay, and in the second method called as two-phase method, as the name suggests, this method can be solved into two different phases, different steps. In the first step, we are going to assign a minus 1 value to the artificial variable, and we are going to develop the method. Okay, therefore we will just have a look to the first method now, called as big yum method. Sometimes this is called as a penalty method also, because this whatever yum we are assigning as a big value, whatever yum we are taking very big, and the cost we are assigning as minus yum. Okay, so this can be called as a penalty value to that artificial variable, where finally the artificial variable is going to take a 0 value. If it is not going to take a 0 value, the problem do not have any kind of solution. It has to take a 0 value. Therefore, that minus m should be multiplied by 0. The value of artificial variable should be 0. This is what a technique used while designing these methods. Okay, so let us have a look on this first method called as big yum method in today's lecture. Okay, therefore the method was very parallel to simplex method. Only the changes we want to introduce the artificial variable wherever necessary and put the cost of the artificial variable as minus m in the objective function. That of for slack and surplus variable, we are putting the value as 0. But for artificial, we are putting some minus m value. Therefore, m becoming, as m is very large, one can say that minus m is very small. Okay, let me tell you the algorithm of the method, and then we will go for solving the examples. Let me write the algorithm. Big yum method, also called as Charnes penalty method. Charnes penalty method. Okay, let us write this method. The bigger method is big yum method is used for solving LPP involving artificial variable. Solving artificial variables. Okay. In this method, we assign, we assign a big value I will assign a very high penalty. Penalty means say what is whatever the cost we are assigning, we are going to call it as penalty. Penalty say m to the artificial variable in the objective function. In the objective function. Therefore, what is the objective function? Which is of the type maximal. Z is equal to yes. One can say that. Let me write it in the notation form. C original into X original. C cost of the original variable multiplied by the original variables. 0 slack variable into X slack variable. What is the meaning? We are assigning 0 cost to the slack variable. Then we are assigning 0 cost to surplus variable also, and next minus m cost to artificial variable. Understood the objective function? Original cost to original variable, 0 cost to slack and surplus both the variable. That of for artificial variable we are keeping the cost in the objective function as minus m. Therefore, if I want to find the optimal value of the objective function in its original variables only, what should be the value of this artificial variable? What should be the value of this artificial variable? This has to be 0. Okay. If this value is 0, then only there is no role of this artificial variable in the objective function. But if it takes some value which is non-zero, some non-zero value if it takes, then this variable is going to play a role in the objective, in the optimum value of the objective function. Therefore, what is the aim? Finally, the aim is to take the value of, or to check the value of artificial variable. If it takes 0 value, the problem will possess a solution. If it is not going to take the 0 value, the problem do not have any solution. Correct now? There is no effect of, as there is no effect of slack and surplus in the objective function. Similarly, there should not be any effect of the artificial variable in the objective function, though we have assigned the cost to be minus m. Is this point clear to everyone? Can I proceed?
Yes, ma'am.
Correct. Okay. Now let us go to the iterative process. The iterative procedure of the algorithm is as below. Okay, what is the step number 1? No doubt, step number 1 is to convert the given LPP in the standard form. Write the given LPP in standard form. Now here we are now going to elaborate what is the standard form. Correct now? In simplex method we have written in detail steps how to convert this to a standard form. Okay, and check whether there exists initial or starting basic feasible solution. Initial basic feasible solution. Now two possibilities arise. If we get the initial basic feasible solution, there is no issue. The issue is when we do not get the initial basic feasible solution. If there is already is ready, I, be, yes. Then follow usual simplex method. There is no trouble in this case. The trouble is only if we are unable to get the IBFS. Okay. Here I will write if there do not exist IBFS, then go to next step. Go to next step. Let us come to next step number 2 now. In this step, we are going to introduce the artificial variable. Therefore, let us write add artificial variable. Add artificial variable to the left hand side of each equation. Left hand side of each equation that has no obvious IDFS or you should say static variable, basic variables. There are no obvious starting basic variables. If we are unable to find out the basic variable, to those equations we have to add the artificial variable. Then we will assign the cost, assign a very high penalty, say m, to these variables. We have penalty to the variables in the objective function. Next, step number 3 tells that use the simplex method. Because adding the artificial variable, now we get the basic variables and IBFS as well. Then apply simplex method. Apply simplex method to the modified LVP. Why we are calling modified? Because we are adding that surplus variable. We are adding that artificial variable. We are assigning its cost to the artificial variable in the objective function. Therefore, whatever is that called, we will call it as a modified LVP and then apply simplex method to this modified LVP, and the following cases may arise. Following cases may arise at the last iteration. What is the last iteration? The iteration at which we will get all delta j's are non-negative. Correct, na?
Yes, ma'am.
No artificial variable present in the basis is the first clause. No artificial variable present in the basis. If this is the situation, then in this case, whatever is the current optimum solution will be the final solution. In this case, the current optimum basic feasible solution is obtained. In this case, current optimum basic feasible solution is obtained. What is the second possibility? At least one variable, one artificial variable, at least one artificial variable is present in the basis, at 0 level or with 0 value, right? Basis with 0 value. Now what happens if it takes a 0 value? 0 value or at 0 level, both the words one can use. with 0 value. In this case also, optimum BFS is obtained. In this case also, optimum basic feasible solution is obtained. Okay, and let us discuss the third possibility. What is the third possibility? At least one variable, one artificial variable, is present in the basis with positive value comma, in this case the given LPT does not possess an optimum basic feasible solution. Okay, therefore this is the methodology actually. If we look at the method, it's very easy. Just the simplex method we have to follow. The only change is whenever necessary we have to add artificial variable and the cost high penalty should be given as minus m. Here I will write cost of artificial variable is minus m. Cost means coefficient in the objective function. This should be minus m. Then one of the three possibilities occurs. No artificial is present in the basis means what? All the artificial variables are non-basic. And what is the value of non-basic variable? It is 0. Therefore, if it takes a 0 value, this artificial variable, if it takes a 0 value, whether there is a role of this m in the objective function? No, it is not, because there is no effect of the artificial variable in the objective function. Therefore, the solution can be whatever is the solution we have obtained will be the final solution, optimum solution. Second case is one artificial variable is present, but its value in the XB column is 0. Okay, with the 0 means the value in XB column is 0. The value of variable in XB column is 0. Means whatever, though it is going to be present in the basis, but it is taking a 0 value. Okay, therefore if it takes a 0 value, again the previous case repeats, therefore whatever is the solution will be the optimum basic feasible solution. The problem arises only if there is one artificial variable is going to remain at in the basis. Here with a positive value instead of this, I think the word non-zero is suitable. With non-zero value. Maybe positive, it may be negative. Then in that case, the value here, suppose x takes a positive value, some 2. 2 into minus m will be minus 2m, and this minus 2m is going to play a role in the objective function. Therefore, we are not having a guarantee whether the value of objective function is going to be real or not. Therefore, in the third case, the problem will not have any kind of the optimum basic feasible solution. Is the method understood to everyone? If the method is understood, we will move towards the problem. Simplex method to be followed only. The change to be made is introduce artificial variable, assign the cost, and one of the three possibilities will be arranged. Okay, that's why I have told you all the methods, next methods are going to depend on simplex method. Therefore, your idea about simplex method should be very clear. There should not be any confusion in the simplex method. Yes, students, is it okay? Methodology? Shall I go for the problem then?
Yes, ma'am.
Let me take a problem. Let me take the the first problem. Maximize z is equal to minus 2x1 minus x2 subject to the constraint 3x1 plus x2 is equal to 3. Next, 4x1 plus 3x2 is a greater equal by 6. Next is x1 plus 2x2 is less than or equals to 4, and x1 x2 is greater equal by 0. One thing you have to keep in mind, whenever the problem was given, it was not given by which method to solve generally. It was only solve the given LPT. Looking at the problem, you have to decide which method is suitable or which method we can apply. If all the constraints are of less equal type, no doubt one can use the simplex method. But here, if we observe, the problem contains one equality constraint, one greater equal constraint, and one less equal constraint. Therefore, we know the fact just now, as we have seen, these two constraints is going to give us a trouble. They will not generate the basic variable. Therefore, we have to use the artificial variable in the first two tips. For which type of inequalities, for which type of constraints you have to use artificial variable? For equal to type constraint and for greater equal to type constraint. Is it clear to everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Let us move. First, let us check the LPP in the standard form or not, whether the objective function is maxima. Yes, it is. Whether right hand side constants are positive. Yes, it is. Now we will go for converting the inequality constraint to equations. Now you have to tell me, for first equation, which variable is necessary? Yes. Which variable I should use?
X3.
X3, but what it is?
Artificial variable.
Yes, it is artificial variable. Okay. So shall I write this? 3x1 plus x2. Okay. Generally, what we will do, we will keep the artificial variable at last. But here I will not use x3 as the artificial variable. You can use it, no doubt. Minus x3. Minus x3. Here x1 plus 2x2 plus x4. Correct now? What is my x3? Surplus. What is my x4?
Slack.
Slack. Now I need two artificial variables at first and second equation. Now I will write here as x5 and here as x6. Why I have written the adding the variables like this? Because the artificial variable should appear at the last columns of your simplex table. Okay. Converting equality constraint into equations. The right hand side constant is 3, 6 and 4. Is this step clear to everyone? No doubt you can write x3, then x4, x5 and then x6 also. But then you have to keep in mind which is the artificial variable. Okay. But just to reduce this confusion, we are keeping the last variables to be the artificial variable so that it will appear in the last columns of the simplex table. Is this point clear to everyone? Shall I proceed of writing the next table directly? Here we will write where x3 is surplus. Surplus, na? x3 is surplus, x4 is slack, and x5, x6 are artificial variables. And no doubt all the variables are Non-negative. See, as the variables are non-negative, na, that's why here it was positive value written. Na? In the book it is positive. I feel the doubt, that's why I have made it as non-zero. Okay, any confusion for these steps? How we have added the variables. If not, we will just directly construct the table. What are the CJ entries? I think instead of before going to this, somewhere I have to write the objective function also. Let me write this. Objective function I have not written. No? Sorry. The objective function will be, what will be the objective function? Maximize z minus 2x or minus x2 is original. What is the cost of added variable? 0x3, 0x3 and 0x4. 0 cost to those are slack and surplus. What for artificial? This is minus m x5 and minus m x6. Okay, this will be a new objective function under the consideration. Now we will write the table. Initial table. If you want, you can check by preparing a coefficient matrix also. If I prepare a coefficient matrix, what are the basic variables? I hope everyone is doing the calculations with me, for problems at least. What are the CJ values? CJs are nothing but coefficient of the variables in the objective function. For x1 it is minus 2, for x2 it is minus 1, this is 0, this is 0, here it is minus m and minus m. These are the cost of the variables. Okay, what is the IBFS obtained now? Initial basic feasible solution is nothing but the right hand side constants, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
4. 3, 6, 4. Let me write the coefficient matrix. For the first variable x1, the column will be 3, 4, 1. For x2, what's the column? 1, 2. Right. For x3,
0 minus 1 0.
0 minus 1 0. For x4, 0 0 1, and here it is 1 0 0. Here it is 0 1 0. Correct. Now you have to tell me which are the basic variables now. Basic variables are the variables forming the columns of the identity matrix. First basic variable will be the variable corresponding to the first column of identity matrix. Therefore, here it is. What is my first basic variable?
X5.
X5.
X5. Then
X6.
X6.
X6 and X4. Correct? Now you have to write the cost of the basic variables in the objective function. For x5, it is minus m. For x6 also, it is minus m. And for x4, this is 0. What is the next step? We have to calculate Z value and net evaluations value, correct? What is Z at this stage? CBXB minus M 0 dot product with 364, that is minus 3M minus 6, and is it minus 9M? If I take M to be very large, very big value, what about minus 9M? Is a smaller value. What is delta 1 in this case? What I have told you,
Values of Tj.
but that is for the previous simplex method tip. Here, this is not a simplex method, this is big M method. Na? You have to do it on your own. What's the formula? Delta 1, CB x1 minus C1. Correct now?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Therefore, how much it is the value? Minus 3M minus 4M, 0 into 1, 0. Therefore, this will be minus 7M minus C1. C1 is minus 2. Therefore, this is minus 7M plus 2. Is it okay? Will I show you? No, I have to draw the table one below the other. Is there everyone getting this?
Yes, ma'am.
Next, what is delta 2? CB x2 minus C2, na? CB column into XB column minus this above entry. So let us do the calculation. This is minus M minus 3M. How much it is? Minus
Yes,
4M. This is 0, no? Third. And minus of minus 1, that is plus M. Plus 1. Third entry. CB x3 minus C3. What is CB x3 minus M into 0? 0.
Simply M.
Minus M into, yes, it is M. 0 into 0 minus 0. Next, for the basic variable. For the basic variable, now it is
0.
going to remain same, 0, 0, 0. Cost of the basic variable 0, you may cross check. For x4, this is minus M into 0, 0, minus M into 0, 0, 0 into 1, 0, minus 0. For x5 also you can check. Minus M into 1, it is minus M. Minus of minus M, it is plus M. Minus M plus M cancels. The cost of the basic variable, sorry, net evaluation corresponding to the basic variables is 0. Okay. Next step. What we have to do in the next step? We have to select the incoming variable, na? In order to improve the basis. Most negative delta J we have to select. That is minimum. Okay, there is no issue for the 4 values. The question is to think between the 2 values, which is the most negative. If M is a big value, big positive value, which is the most negative? Minus 7M or minus 4M?
minus 7.
Minus 7.
Minus 7M will be most negative and hence it is going to enter the basis. Now if this variable is going to enter the basis, we have to find out which variable can leave the basis. And to find the criteria of leaving variable, what we were doing? Finding the minimum ratio. What will be the ratio here? XBI upon XI1, na? First variable is entering the basis. That is xb1 upon x11, xb2 upon x21, xb3 upon x31. That is xb column upon x1 column. Provided the columns of entries in the columns of x1 are positive. Here we observe all the entries are positive. Therefore, the 3 ratios can be calculated. What is the first value? 3 by 3, it's 1. Second value 6 by 4. 3 by 2, no? Then last is 4 by 1, that is 4. Which value is going to leave the basis then? Which variable?
X4.
Minimum you have to find.
Oh, smallest value.
6.
Oh,
Yeah.
6.
X5.
X5.
Among 1, 3 by 2 and 4, which is minimum.
Sorry.
So for x5 is going to leave the basis. X1 is going to enter the basis, which is my pivot.
3.
Yeah, 3. The position is x11. Correct, na? Position of this variable is
Yes, ma'am.
x11. Now we will make this 3 to 1 and the remaining entries to 0. Why we are making this? Have you understood? Because now x1 is going to become the first basic variable. Therefore, its corresponding column should be first column of identity matrix. No? Therefore, we were adjusting this as 1, remaining entries to 0. Let us check which row operations to be done. For converting 3 to 1, which row operation should be performed?
R1 by 3.
Yes, it is
R1 divided by
R1 by
3.
3. Okay, for converting 4 to 0 using R1. Don't forget you have to use the row in which key element present for performing the operations. Means you cannot use third row for making this 4 0. You have to use first row only to convert this 4 to 0. Yes, tell me the row operation converting 4 to 0.
R2 minus 3 R1 by 3.
R2 minus 3
3
R1 by 3 again. It's 3 itself.
4.
We should divide this number by 3 and multiply by 4, na? So that this
4
will be
R1 by
good.
3.
Yeah, this is 4 by 3 R1. Correct, na? We will divide by 3 and then it becomes 1, multiply by 4. So that it becomes 4. Now subtract from R2. Next, for third row.
R3 minus R1 by 3.
Yes, it is R3 minus R1 by 3. Okay. Now what are the basic variables? New basic variables. Instead of xy, we have to write x1. I don't have a space to write. Here only I will adjust. This is x1, x6 and x4. Okay. What is the cost for x1? Minus 2. For x6, minus m. For x4, this is 0. Next. Now what is the hint known to us? Column corresponding to the basic variables are the columns of identity matrix. Therefore, we will write those columns first so that the calculation gets simpler to us. Therefore, x1 I will make 1 0 0, x6 no doubt 0 1 0, x4 will be 0 0 1. We have mentioned it. Now let us perform the row operations. What for the first we have used R1 by 3. Therefore, this is 1 by 3. This is 0, 1 by 3. Correct? Next, we will perform second R2 minus 4 by 3 R1. How much is this value? 6 minus 4 by 3 into 3. 3 cancels. 6 minus 4, it is 2. This stage, 3 minus 4 by 3. 5 by 3.
Yes, ma'am.
Here it is. As this R1 entry is 0, there is no change. Here it is for this entry 0 minus 4 by 3. This is minus 4 by 3. Now we perform third operation. Third operation is R3 minus R1 by 3. 4 minus 3 by 3. 1. Means 4 minus 1. Is it 3? How nice values we have obtained. 1, 2, 3. Let us do for this element now. 2 minus 1 by 3.
5 by 3.
Yes, it is 5 by 3 again. Next, this 0 minus 0, no change. Here this is minus 1 by 3, na? Okay. While doing these row operations, you should take very care, because if one entry goes wrong, your whole problem is going to be wrong. Okay, this we have to take care. Now what we will do, we will find the value of z and we will check whether the value gets improved or not. If the value improved, then only we are on the correct track. Otherwise, it will be somewhat wrong. What is the z value at this stage? This is minus 2m, correct? Minus 2. This is 0, no? Whether the value improved from minus 9m to minus 2m.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Yes, the
ma'am.
value is improved. Now we will calculate net evaluations again for the stable. For basic variable, we will write the net evaluation 0. This is the nice hint we have. Now we will calculate the net evaluations for the remaining numbers. For this delta 2, we will calculate first. Tb into x2 minus c2 is the formula. So this is minus 2 by 3 minus 5m by 3 minus of minus 1. This is plus 1. Correct. I will write the minus m term. 5m by 3. This is minus 2 by 3 plus 1. Minus 2 by 3 plus 1. Is it plus 1 by 3?
Yes, ma'am.
Second, delta 3. Minus 2, 0, 0, minus m, plus m, 0, 0, 0, minus 0. Therefore, is it m only?
Yes,
For
ma'am.
delta 5. For delta 5, this is minus 2 into 1 by 3, minus 2 by 3. This is minus m into minus 4 by 3. I will write m value, 4m by 3. I will calculate the remaining. Third entry is 0. So this is actually minus 2 by 3 plus m. Minus,
7m by 3.
shall I write directly? Minus 7m by 3.
Yes, ma'am.
This is plus 7, no?
Yes, ma'am.
Plus 7m by 3 minus 2, no? Minus 2 by 3. This minus 2 by 3 as it is.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Something positive m we have obtained. Now, as m is going to be a big value, big means 1 lakh, 1 crore, 1 trillion, you can take million. So there is no effect of this minus 2 by 3 as such. Therefore, which is the most negative among these values?
Is minus 5m by 3.
Yes, this minus 5m by 3. Therefore, this is going to enter the basis. Therefore, we have to calculate which variable is going to leave the basis. Therefore, what we have to do, xb column upon this column, correct? Okay. For this, all the entries are positive in this column. Therefore, all the 3 values going to exist. First value is 1 upon 1 by 3. 1 upon 1 by 3, it is 3, no?
Yes, ma'am.
1 upon 1 by 3, this is 3. Next, 2 upon 5 by 3.
6 by 5.
6 by 5, good. And 3 upon 5 by 3?
9 by 5.
9 by 5. Tell me which is the minimum.
Ma'am, 6 by
This
5.
is 6 by 5 is 1 point something, no? 9 by 5. Yes, 6 by 5, no doubt. This variable
It
is
is
going
1
to
point.
leave the base. 6 by 5, 9 by 5, 6 by 5 is the minimum. But therefore, what is my pivot? This pivot, no? Correct? This is the pivot. Now, again we will convert this pivot to unity, remaining entries to 0. Tell me the row operations.
3 by 5 R2.
Yes, first operation is 3 by 5 into R2. Next, for converting 1, this R1 0, R1 minus, we will divide this by 5 so that this term will be 1 by 3 and we will subtract from the first row. Therefore, is it 1 by 5 R2 third one, easy. R3 minus R2. Okay. Now, which are the basic variables? X6 is going to leave the basis. That of X2 is going to enter. Which are the variables? X1, X2 and X4. Correct now? And the cost of these variables is, for X2 we have minus 1. Minus 2, minus 1, 0. See, check all the variables. From this basis variables, we have removed all the artificial variable. Therefore, whatever the solution we are going to obtain will be the optimum basic feasible solution. First possibility, na? Actually, what we have written after using the usual simplex method, 3 possibilities arises. No artificial variable appears is the first possibility, and that we have obtained. Okay, let us find these entries. First, we will write all the basis column to be 0, 0. X1, 1, 0, 0. X2, 0, 1, 0, no? And X4, 0, 0, 1. Now we'll do the first operation, multiplying second row by R, or second row by 3 by 5. Okay, multiply by 3 by 5, tell me the values. 2 into 3 by 5. 6 by 5. Here it is, minus 3 by 5. Here it is, minus 4 by 3 into 3 by 5. 1, 3 get cancelled. We left with minus 4 by 5. And here it is 3 by 5. Okay, in some books, it was one more trick given that whenever an artificial variable leaves the basis, now you can drop the column entries. You can drop the column entries. That is, here x5 leaves, therefore one can drop these column entries also. So let us follow this. So we will drop both the column entries. In some books, all the calculations are done. Okay, as we have done here, let it be. We will do it in the next exam. First row operation we have made. What's the second one?
R1 minus R2 by 5.
Minus R2 by 5. This 1 minus 2 by 5. Correct, no? 1 minus 2 by 5 is 3 by 5. Correct?
Yes, ma'am.
One by 3 minus 1 by 5 minus 1 is plus into 4 by 3. How much is this value? 1 by 3 minus 1 by 5 into minus 4 by 3. This minus becomes positive. This is 24 by, how much is the value? 1 by 3 plus 4 by 15.
It's 8 by 5.
4 by 15 means I have to adjust 5 here. This is 5 by 15. 8 by 5. Check it again.
Nine by 5. 3 by 5.
3 by 5, yes. 3 by 5. Here I have done the calculations. This is 3 by 5. So 3 minus 1, 2, 0, minus 1 by 3 minus 1 by 3. R3 minus R2, sorry. Minus 1 by 3 minus plus 4 by 3. Means it is 3 by 3. 1 minus 1. Now tell me Z entry. What is Z? Minus 2 into 3 by 5 minus 6 by 5 minus 6 by 5 is it minus 12 by 5. Whether
Yes,
the
ma'am.
value improved, if m is going to be a very big value, suppose 1 lakh, then this is minus 2 lakhs something. Here it is minus 12 by 5. If the value improves, no doubt. Let me calculate the net evaluations. First, for the basic variable, let me write 0, 0, 0. Let me check for the remaining. No need to check for the artificial variable because we are going to drop the entry. Once the artificial variable leaves the basis, we are not going to enter it again. So we will check for this one only. Minus 2 into 1 by 5 plus 3 by 5. Correct, no? 1 by 5. If you calculate here also, this is m minus 2 by 5 and m minus 1 by 5. Taking m to be very large, m minus 2 by 5 is going to be a positive value. So all net evaluations we have obtained to be non-negative. Here we are going to stop the process, and if we observe there is no artificial variable is appearing in the basis, therefore whatever is the solution obtained at this stage will be the optimum basic feasible solution. Since all delta j's are non-negative, no artificial variable is present in the basis. It is not present in the basis means it is not basic variable. No? Present in the basis, thus OBFS is obtained. OBFS is obtained. And what are the values of the solution? X1 3 by 5, X2 6 by 5, and Z is minus 12 by 5. X1 3 by 5, X2 6 by 5, and Z is minus 12 by 5. Hence, solution is obtained. Hence, it is the solution. Any doubt with the methodology and the problem as well? Yes, students, if you have the doubt, you can ask me now. Simplex method is being followed. Only difference is adding the artificial variable, putting the cost of the variables is the minus m value. Okay, let me give you 1-2 examples for homework so that you can make more practice on this. Yes, if you look at this example, 3 inequalities in all, where 2 are of less equal type and 1 is greater equal type. Therefore, how many types of variables we require? 1 surplus, 2 slack, and students, are you there or not?
Yes, ma'am.
Tell me the number of variables required.
One
Ma'am,
artificial.
2 surplus, 1 artificial.
1 slack also. 2 surplus
One
or 2 slack.
surplus,
2
two
slack,
slack.
1 artificial.
One,
2 slack, 1 artificial, 1 surplus also.
Yes, ma'am.
Check how many variables required for this problem now.
3 artificial.
No, that is what I want to tell you now. Huh? See, look at this. As we have discussed already that for a greater equal and equality constraint, we require one artificial variable each. But sometimes for these kind of problems, the identity matrix will be obtained very easily. Okay, how? Let us check. Actually, as these are the three variables, let me show you by writing the coefficient matrix. Let me write the coefficient matrix. For x1, this is 1, 2, 1. For x2, this is 2, 1, 2. For x3, 3, 5, 1. Correct now? What for x4? What for x4?
0, 0, 1.
This is 0, 0, 1. Means this third equation gives us automatically a basic variable. Third basic variable. Therefore, how many to be added?
2.
2.
2 to be added. Therefore, how many artificial we require? 2 only. Therefore, this depends on your particular problem given to us. Okay. If you add these as a third artificial variable, then also there is no issue. But you will be increased with 1 or 2 iterations. 1 or 2 table gets increased. Okay. Therefore, here no need to use the artificial variable for the third equation. You must use the artificial variable only for the first and second equation. Is it clear? Is this part clear to everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Try for this. One example I will give you where the optimum solution is not required, not obtained. Yes. For example, now you have to solve those examples, okay, and do more practice as well. If you have the doubts on today's lectures, you can ask me. If not, let me stop here. Thank you for being with me for today's lecture.